New York, Detroit, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Baltimore were once such beautiful cities, Michael Snyder reports. If America is heading in the right direction, why have so many of our major cities become cesspools of violence, drugs, theft, trash, and homelessness? Once upon a time, millions of young people from all over America flocked to our rapidly growing metropolitan areas. Today, there's a mass exodus out of our largest metropolitan areas due to the absolutely deplorable conditions. And if you're not yet convinced that we are a nation in decline, spend some time wandering around our core urban areas. The shiny new cities that previous generations of Americans built for us are degenerating at a pace that is absolutely stunning. Just look at what's happening to New York. A couple of decades ago, it was still in relatively good shape, but now it's going down the tubes really fast. A shopping mall in the Big Apple that cost $1 billion to build just 10 years ago is being permanently shut down because conditions in the city have become so intolerable. A major city mall with dozens of stores is planning to shop as America's theft epidemic continues to batter businesses. Retail operator Westfield announced that it intends to end its lease and sever all operations with the Fulton Center in Lower Manhattan. Westfield put pen to paper on a 2-decade-long lease in 2014. However, as levels of theft and homelessness continue to spiral, the company have decided to forego the contract 10 years early. Westfield has cited soaring crime and quality of life concerns as their reasons for terminating the lease. Yes, things are that bad. Walking away from $1 billion project is not an easy decision, but Westfield apparently has come to the conclusion that conditions are not going to improve anytime soon. Just because a city was great at one time does not mean that it always will be great. Detroit was once one of the greatest cities on the entire planet, but now it has become a cautionary tale. Detroit was once a symbol of the mighty industrial power of America. It was the home of the big three American car companies that dominated car production around the world. It was America's success that developed a large industrial middle class. Today, one finds articles like The Guardian's The Death of a Great American City. Why does anyone still live in Detroit? So what has happened to what was once one of the greatest Rust Belt cities? The story of Detroit is a much larger tale of what has been happening in the city of Gary in Indiana, a ghost town in the making. Other major cities should learn from what has happened to Detroit, but instead, many of them are making the exact same mistakes. Years of progressive policies have turned some of our most appealing cities into horror shows. It wasn't too long ago that the glamour of Hollywood drew in visitors from all over the globe, but now Hollywood is absolutely packed with homeless encampments. A large Hollywood Boulevard homeless encampment that residents say is a hotspot for selling drugs. This is a trash-strewn tent city they say took the city 3 months to clear, has sparked continued concerns as unhoused residents are already returning to the location. The encampments are a persistent problem plaguing neighborhoods not just in Hollywood but across greater Los Angeles. Conditions are similar up north in San Francisco. I've written extensively about the hordes of addicts that wander aimlessly through the streets, and they leave trash and human excrement everywhere they go. As a result, San Francisco is an extremely filthy city today. If that wasn't bad enough, the city itself is dumping raw sewage and trash directly into the bay at a magnitude that's almost incomprehensible. Sigal Chosky Kush, Baykeeper's executive director, says there's no excuse for polluting the bay with sewage and trash, and those who pollute it must be held accountable. Dumping millions of gallons of untreated sewage into Mission Creek and the bay is unacceptable, avoidable, and illegal. Nearly all of SFPUC's discharge flow into Mission Creek and Islais Creek. Baykeeper found the nonprofit field investigators visited Mission Creek during sewer discharges and saw the presence of fecal matter, plastic syringes, and condoms in the water. San Francisco is dumping raw sewage and trash directly into the bay at a magnitude that's almost incomprehensible, said Baykeeper attorney Eric Boucher. I thought that progressives were supposed to be in favor of protecting the environment. On the East Coast, the city of Baltimore is facing a different sort of crisis. After years of disastrous policies, the police shortage in the city has reached an apocalyptic level. Baltimore is now facing apocalyptic levels of policing shortages. Last week, 3 police officers patrolled the whole district of 61,000 residents. Only 3 police officers. Police are now unable to respond to calls, including for child assault. The department is now postponing police training in an attempt to solve shortages. At one time in my life, I would visit Baltimore pretty regularly, and I was always thankful to get out of the city safely. Of course, things are much worse now, and at this point, I don't know why anyone would still want to live there. Pittsburgh is also experiencing a very serious shortage of police officers. In fact, things have gotten so bad that police in the city will no longer respond to any calls that are not in progress emergencies. Beginning Monday, Pittsburgh police will not respond to any calls that are not in progress emergencies. Chief Larry Scirotto wants to cut their call volume from approximately 200,000 calls per year down to about 50,000 calls. It means that calls for criminal mischief, theft, harassment, and burglary alarms, just to name a few, will all be handled by telephone reporting unit or online reporting. This is what a nation in decline looks like. We've turned our backs on the values of this nation, what that this nation was founded upon, and as a result, we're now experiencing social decay on an epic scale. And this is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Michael's new book entitled Chaos, available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon, and you can check out his new Substack newsletter right here. About the author, Michael Snyder, extremely controversial new book, Chaos, available in paperback and Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. You can connect with Michael on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and share his articles on your own social media accounts. It's definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.